Hey, welcome back. I'm Taylor Thrasher. I'm a fitness and nutrition coach. Today, we're gonna go over macros, what they are, how to track them, why they're important, and later on in this video, I'm gonna tell you how tracking macros can change your entire life. Let's get started. Macros, macronutrients. That is the full word that we're looking for here, right? TS. So macronutrients. Macro just means big. They are the big nutrients that make up our daily calories. There are also micronutrients. Think small, vitamins and minerals. Macros are protein, carbs, and fats. These are what make up our total daily calories. Protein has 4 calories per gram. Okay, same thing with carbohydrates. 4 calories per gram. Fats, they have double the amount of calories. Fats have 9 calories per gram. This is what makes up our total daily calories. That's why I always suggest tracking macros versus tracking calories, because if you're only tracking calories, you could be way deficient in one of these, usually protein, right? And just eating the rest of your day, carbs and fats. Carbohydrates and fats are both energy sources. So our body uses carbohydrates to fuel our workouts. Carbohydrates are digested by the body. They become glucose. They go into your muscles. They're super important for building muscle. Fats are good for cognitive function, brain health. Think long-term energy. The double caloric value of fats versus carbs means that these are gonna have a slower burn. This is like lighting a fuse, right? It's gonna go, you're gonna burn through it pretty quick. This is like hot embers at the bottom of a fireplace is how I like to think of it. A lot slower burn, they're gonna stay warm for a longer period of time. Takes longer for your body to digest. These two, carbohydrates and fats, can be stored by your body as body fat, okay? They're an energy source, but if you don't use them up, if you're overeating, then your body's gonna store them, they're gonna become body fat. There's a bunch of different ways that you can divvy these up. First thing we need to figure out, if you're trying to figure out what your macros are, is we need to figure out your TDEE, okay? You can Google that. You can Google TDEE calculator. This is gonna tell you your total daily energy expenditure. It's gonna tell you how many calories you need. My recommendation to most people, unless you're like some construction worker dude who's probably an apprentice, like running your ass off every day, when they ask you what your activity level is, if you're trying to lose body fat, just go ahead and give yourself a light activity level, okay? There's not a lot of people out there that need to be putting high activity, even if you're going to the gym 6-7 days a week, even if you're doing cardio. That's been my experience. It could be totally different for you, but generally, light activity to moderate activity, depending on your activity level. I mean, if you sit at a desk, even if you train 6 days a week, put sedentary, okay? All that's gonna do is tell you that your total daily energy expenditure is a little bit lower. It's gonna drop those calories a little bit lower, because when you calculate it, it's gonna spit out your total daily calorie needs, right? So let's say the app or the calculator spits out 2,500 calories. That would be your maintenance calories. That's what you need to eat every day to maintain exactly where you're at. Now, if you want to burn some body fat, you want to lose some weight, you need to be in what's called a calorie deficit. So you need to eat less than this every day, because your body's going to be burning through 2,500. You need to eat less than that so your body can go after some of your body fat stores for energy versus the carbs and fats that you're going to be feeding it. So typically in the fitness industry, we would put you in a 500 calorie deficit, which is going to equal 2,000 calories. So you're going to be shooting for 2,000 calories a day. Now here's how I would divvy that up.
While we're talking about it, if you want me to calculate your macros for free, you can comment on any of the reels I have posted on Instagram with the word macro, or you can click the first link in the description. I'll send over a macro calculator where we can figure out your macros together, free of charge. That way you can get started on your weight loss journey.
This is what I like to do for most of my clients. If I have 2,000 calories, I'm probably gonna run them on a 40, 35, 25 macro split. What that looks like is 40% protein, so they're getting 200 grams of protein a day, which most people aren't, so they're already gonna start to see and feel changes in their body when they bump up to 200 grams of protein a day. Carbohydrates, 35%. Like I said, it's, to me, in my mind, it's a little bit easier and quicker for your body to burn through carbohydrates for your workouts, to fuel your workouts, to fuel your daily activities. So I keep that a little bit higher, 175 grams. Fats, I generally keep them a little bit lower because you're trying to burn body fat. So the way I see it, you don't need to feed your body a ton of fat because you've already got fat to burn. So I keep it at 25% generally, which would give you 55 grams. There's a lot of other people that see it differently than I do. There's people that would keep the carbohydrates way lower, right? They'd keep the fats a lot higher, maybe even a keto diet or a carnivore diet where the carbs are almost zero. You can do that. I don't generally have the best experience with it. I've had really good results with this for most of my clients. Some people though, depending on your level of insulin resistance, which we can get into that in a different video, you may need more fat. You may not be able to handle the carbs. But like I said, for the most part, this is great. This is a good split right here. So write this down. If you're a dude, let's say you're 240 pounds, you're 220 pounds, even 200 pounds, this is probably gonna work for you. The heavier you are, the higher deficit you're gonna be in at 2,000 calories. If you're at 200 pounds, maybe you're like 5'9", you're 200 pounds, you need to lose still like 20 pounds. You might need to be eating 1,800, 1,600, depending on your level of activity. If you're sitting at a desk all day, you're gonna need to eat lower calories, even if you're going to the gym and doing cardio. But if you're up, you're getting 10, 20,000 steps a day, you go to the gym, you walk the dog when you come home, you live a pretty active lifestyle, you might be able to get away with 2,000 and still be losing weight. How to track macros. How are you actually gonna track them? To me, there's really two ways of looking at it. You can go old school, you can look at the label of all the food that you buy, you can get out your notebook and calculator and you can try and add up everything that you're eating in the day, try to make it fit whatever macro split you're going for. But it's 2025, we're gonna go ahead and cross that off the list. I wouldn't do it old school. I would download some type of app. My favorite app that I use is MyFitnessPal. Now I know there's a ton of other ones out there. I'm not even gonna list them because I can't remember any of the names because I use MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is an app on your phone to where you can go in and you just enter all the foods that you've eaten in a day. So like let's say breakfast is 3 eggs. You type in eggs, select 3, punch it in real quick. You had half a glass of orange juice, pop it in, 4 ounces of orange juice, whatever. Everybody out there that has a fat loss goal, a muscle gain goal, some type of body composition goal should be weighing and measuring everything that they put in their mouth, all of the food that they eat. Anything that has calories, has macros in it, you should be weighing, you should be measuring, you should be logging. I will literally go in there and I'll say, add food, ground beef, 90% lean, 8 ounces, 2 cups of jasmine rice. Add that, and then if you want to get crazy, you can track your vegetables. You could put half a bell pepper. You could weigh out in grams, how much bell pepper you put on there. That would be my GB&R bowl. Most of you guys have seen it. GB&R just stands for ground beef and rice. I eat it every single day. That's all I do. I just punch it in there. It's gonna spit out exactly how many calories, how many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, and how many grams of fat. Then I can figure out for the rest of the day what I need to eat to fill in those numbers. Generally, it's gonna be more chicken, more rice, some type of Greek yogurt, whey protein powder. Those are the things that I mostly eat. So we've gone over what macros are. We've gone over why you need to track them versus just tracking calories. We've went over how to track them. Right here, I'm gonna put up a meal plan for a 2,000 calorie full day of eating. I know it looks super simplistic, but that's the way that it needs to be. The simpler you can eat, the simpler it's gonna be to reach your goals. Adding variety, adding all these different kinds of sauces and recipes and this or that cooked in butter, it's gonna add a lot of calories to your daily intake. That's where people kind of get out of hand and they go wrong. You might be eating eggs, which are a totally healthy food. You might be eating chicken, whatever else it is. But if you're cooking it in a pan with a bunch of butter or olive oil, or you're putting olive oil all over your salad, or you're making a healthy salad and you're putting ranch dressing or some other type of salad dressing on there, you're adding a lot of calories that you don't realize that you're eating. Salad dressing, oil, butter, they all have a ton of calories. They're not all bad, unhealthy foods, but they still have a lot of calories, which are gonna cause you to gain weight if it's more than the daily caloric need that you have. So keep it as simple as you can. Like, look at this meal plan, dude. It says 1 scoop of protein, half a cup of oats. It's got the ground beef, it's got the rice, but it's no frills. This is how I eat to maintain a physique that I'm happy with year round. Now, what's great is when you've been lifting weights for a long time, you've got some decent muscle mass on you, your body turns into a machine, where the more muscle mass you have, the more you can eat and your body can get through it without storing excess body fat. So at that point, it's a lot easier to be able to go out on the weekend, with your spouse, go have a nice dinner out. You can kind of eat whatever you want. And as long as you're getting right back on plan the next day and you're eating 90% clean throughout the week, it's not going to hinder you as much. If you're just starting out on your weight loss journey, I don't recommend cheat meals. I don't recommend going off plan. I actually don't even recommend in the beginning trying to just fully track your macros and just eating and entering foods throughout the day. I actually recommend sticking to a meal plan. That way you're gonna get in the rhythm of eating the same things every day. You're gonna get in the rhythm of weighing your food out on the food scale, measuring everything. You're gonna start to get into that rhythm. And then you're gonna see over time, okay, these are the types of food that have a lot of protein. These are the types of food that make my dietary fat go over. That's where I would start. If you're just getting started, I would find a coach, I would download a meal plan, I would go on TDEE, figure out what your caloric intake is, go to ChatGPT, have it spit you out a meal plan. They're not always 100% accurate, but it's gonna get you pretty damn close. Follow the meal plan, go through the motions of tracking and weighing your food every day, get used to that, and then you can start to get creative, add more variances, etc., so that you can have some more variety in your day-to-day. That's what's beautiful about tracking macros. When you get good at it and when you're disciplined with it and you know what you're looking at, you really can have a lot of variety in the foods that you eat, still get the results you want without eating the same boring meal plan every day. I definitely would, to get started though, eat off of a meal plan while you're learning macros.
If you feel like you're gaining a lot from this video, but you want some one-on-one help as far as learning macros, tracking them, getting your nutrition, training, and accountability on point, go ahead and click the second link in this video if you have any interest in working with me one-on-one. It's my application for one-on-one coaching. It'll allow us to get on a quick call, go over your goals, make sure we're gonna be a good fit, and then I can actually help you. And if we are a good fit, then you'll have the opportunity to become one of my next client transformations like these guys here. They all did it, they're all killing it, and a lot of these guys were training for years and not seeing the results that they wanted to. But with some small changes to their daily habits, getting their macros on point, making sure they had a good solid training plan to follow, and then hopping on a weekly call with myself and the team for accountability, getting their questions answered and staying motivated and staying in it, they're seeing results better than they've seen in the last couple of years in a matter of months. If you have any interest in doing that, any interest in working with me, second link in the description of the video, that will take you to my application. I would love the opportunity to work with you and help you.
Now, if you're wondering what foods to eat that are gonna make up your macros that are the best choices, I figure instead of trying to get all complicated in the editing and put it all up on the screen, I'll just take you to my fridge and freezer and show you what I got in here. So, I always have ground beef. These are the 8812 ground beef in the big styrofoam from Costco. I buy those, I divvy it up, I put it in a Ziploc bag like this. I think this is 1.5 pounds. Stick it in the freezer, so I've always got it on deck. Ground beef, or beef in general, is a great source of protein. It's gonna be a little bit higher in fat, so keep that in mind. Chicken breast. This is one of the leanest forms of protein that you're gonna get as meat, or as far as chicken, beef, poultry, whatever, pork. Chicken breast is one of the leanest. Another super lean one, shrimp. Very high in protein, super duper lean. Love shrimp. Usually have that on deck. Another one is fish. So you've got salmon, which is a fattier fish, super healthy, super good for you. But just remember when you're tallying your macros up, your fats, salmon is gonna make them go sky high. Super good for you. Highly recommend it. Salmon is great. You've got cod, halibut, mahi, those types of whitefish. Those ones are gonna be a lot leaner. Also a super great source of protein. Another source of protein I use on the daily, whey protein powder. It tastes amazing. You can make a shake with it, you know, mix in some fruit, do whatever you want. But another hack that I always do, I mix this with plain non-fat Greek yogurt, and it makes like a pudding. I have it almost every single night. My wife has it every single night. Tastes amazing. Straight protein, couple grams of carbs, almost 0 grams of fat. That is one of the best protein hacks there is out there. Whey protein mixed with non-fat Greek yogurt. As far as good carbohydrate sources go, I always stick to the basics. White rice, potatoes, any color potato, oats, and then things like cream of rice. I'll even eat like rice check cereal if I'm bulking up, trying to get bigger. Fruit, those are the main sources right there. Always rice, a little bit less frequently potatoes just because they're, you know, not as easy as rice. Oats I have super often. What I avoid, what I stay away from though, would be like pastas, flour, anything with gluten in it. I don't do super well with gluten. I will, however, eat sourdough bread. Not when I'm on a cut as often. If I'm bulking up, sourdough bread is a great choice for carbohydrates. Because it's fermented, it's gonna be a little bit better for your digestion. As far as choices for fat, that's also pretty simple. I opt for grass-fed butter, good olive oil, which I don't use very often, just to be transparent, not because there's anything wrong with it, I just typically don't. Avocado oil, especially for cooking because it has a high smoke point, that one's really good. I avoid seed oils. So grass-fed butter, olive oil, avocado oil, those are the main ones. Also in the house, I'm gonna have beef tallow, coconut oil I'll use occasionally, avocado, peanut butter, those are other sources of fat. Peanut butter is not a protein food, contrary to what they might tell you. Peanut butter is almost straight fat. I will use peanut butter to get my fats in. I will use avocado, dairy, some dairy. You could have like some cheddar cheese. That's like a good source of fat. It's got calcium. It's also got protein and carbs in it. Any dairy products, you know, milk, cheese, that sort of thing, they're gonna have proteins, carbs, and fats, but it's gonna have a lot of fat compared to some of the other lower fat options. Those are the foods that I get the majority of my macros and calories from on a daily basis. Now, if you're tracking your macros and you're wondering, is this working for me? I feel like this isn't working for me. How do I kind of gauge like when's the time for an adjustment? How do I know I'm doing the right thing? These are the things that I would look for in this order. Number one, you've got to figure out what your macros are. You've got to give them a fair shake. You've got to try it for a couple of weeks, sometimes even longer, depending on how much repair needs to happen in your gut. I mean, think about it. If you were out there smoking, eating junk food, drinking alcohol, doing all these things that were just wrecking your insides, there's a repair process that has to happen. Generally, for most people, when they're eating the right amount of calories, they're eating the right macro ratio, they're getting a little bit of exercise in, they're gonna start to see results pretty quick. I'm talking to those people. Let's assume that's you for this demonstration. So, number one, you have to be consistent with it. You have to track everything you eat for weeks. Like every single day, everything you eat, everything that has calories. If you're putting milk or coffee creamer in your coffee, that gets tracked. At the end of the night, you can't just be sitting there eating fruit or eating chocolate chips, sitting on the couch watching TV, eating half of your kids' peanut butter and jelly because they left it on the table. You have to track everything you eat to know for a fact what numbers you're getting in every day. So you have to be super consistent with it. If you're not being consistent with it, I can't help you, you can't help you, God can't help you, okay? Be consistent with it. Now, another thing you want to look at is your digestion. Now, this is just trying to figure out what works for you and what doesn't, right? There's certain things that I eat, I don't do well with them. I don't really think you should be eating wheat products or gluten products, but like I said, gluten really messes with me. There's some other things that I can't eat, causes indigestion. You want to make sure that your digestion is good. So use the calories and macros that your TDEE calculator, whatever gave you, whatever your coach gave you. Make sure that you're digesting well. If you're not, try and figure out what food group is causing the discomfort or the irregular irregularity. Find out what's causing the irregularity. Whatever it is, fix that, then stay consistent with it again. Now, what are your results looking like? If you're seeing results, if you're losing weight on the scale, if your pants are starting to fit better, if you can feel your clothes, like you feel like you're shrinking, right? You're adding holes to your belt, you're getting results, that's good. Stay consistent with it. You need to do all of these things and look for all of these things before you worry about nutrient timing. I get questions a lot. When should I eat my carbs? When should I eat my fats? When should I eat my proteins? Post-workout, pre-workout, blah, blah, blah. Don't even worry about that yet, okay? Make sure that you're consistent, you've got good digestion, and you're seeing results before you worry about timing. This is more for people who are in good shape already, and they just kind of want to take it to that next level, right? This is not something that you need to be worrying about in the beginning stages of starting to track macros, in the beginning stages of a weight loss journey, etc. I will give you a couple of tips though. You definitely want protein spread throughout the day. So try not to go all day without eating protein and then your last meal is like 200 grams of protein. That would be crazy. I generally try to keep fats away from my workout. So not immediately pre-workout and not immediately post-workout, okay? Like I said, this is not something you need to worry about right now, but if you are a little bit more advanced, carbs, pre and post-workout, keep the fats away because they slow digestion down around your workout. You want to have fast digestion so you can have protein, especially a lean protein like a whey protein powder, and carbohydrates because those are going to fuel the workout, but they're also going to immediately start replenishing your glycogen stores that you wiped out and smoked in the gym. Those are really the two big ones, right? Fat away from the workout, protein throughout the day. I like to keep my meals pretty balanced. If you're starting to get hungry towards the end of the day, if you're in a calorie deficit, you can push some of your calories to the end of the day, eat a smaller breakfast. Something that I generally tell my clients to do is eat throughout the day. So don't wait till 10 or 11 o'clock to eat. Eat early in the morning when you get up. And in my mind, this could be argued, whatever. I don't know if it's fact or whatever. But in my mind and in my experience, when you eat early in the day, you get hungrier earlier in the day. So if you don't eat any breakfast, you might not get hungry till 10, 11 o'clock. But if you ate at 6, you're probably hungry by like 8 or 9. Now, in my mind, that would be your metabolism ramping up, your body being like, okay, we got some fuel, now we need some more. Eat throughout the day, and I really feel like that's helped a lot of my clients. But like I said, if you're getting hungrier towards the end of the day, eat a smaller breakfast earlier, and then push some of those calories to the end of the day so that you're not binging. You're doing really good all day, and then night comes, you get super starving, and then you're binging. At the beginning of the video, I told you I was gonna tell you how tracking macros could potentially change your entire life. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna wait for another video. So make sure you hit subscribe, stick around for it, pay attention for it. That's about all I have for today on macros. If you enjoyed the video, if you got value out of the video, please just let me know in the comments and I can make more content like this. If you didn't, you could also tell me what you didn't like. You could tell me what I left out, what I could add, what you still have questions on, and I'll make sure to add it in the next video. I'm Taylor Thrasher. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.